Welcome to another episode of the Money Wheel Podcast. The journey to wealth starts here with your host, Don Shade.
Hello, my friend and future millionaire. Welcome to this episode of the Money Wheel. My name is Don Shade. Something I want to cover with you here today, I want you to think about what's going to happen when life gets in the way. How are you going to handle it? Because it happens to all of us. One of the things I've learned to do is become very detailed. And I'm detailed in certain things. For example, I can tell you how much money I spent to date on training. I'm well up over the $300,000 mark. And I can tell you that I've read or listened to well over 1,000 trainings or audiobooks to help me in life and to build my business. Why do I keep track of all that stuff? A couple of reasons. The first one is a selfish reason. It's for me because when life starts to kick me, here's what I say to myself. I've been through too much and I've learned too much along the way to be able to let this stop me, no matter what the situation is. And I start automatically thinking to myself about the solution instead of the problem. And another reason that I keep track of all that stuff is I knew in the very beginning that it was my goal to coach other people on how to do some of the stuff that I've done. And I wanted to be able to show a track record that basically told people that I was qualified to coach them. But what it comes down to for you when you're just starting out, you need to be able to look back over what happened over the last week and the stuff you did to move yourself forward. This way, when life throws you something that is going to stumble you a little bit, it doesn't throw you off the path to success. You learn how to deal with it and you move forward. There's a lot of stuff that I've dealt with here in the last year that I never expected. But the reason that I was strong enough to deal with it and be able to keep moving forward is because I knew how to talk to myself, so to speak. I knew how to be my own best friend. I know how to carry myself through it. In other words, I didn't beat myself up. I made sure that I was telling myself we were going to get through this. This is just temporary. When you're going through hell, it's not the time to stop. You got to keep running and work your way out. And that's some of the stuff that I've been dealing with over the last year with COVID and everything else that has went on. And what I'm doing here with this podcast, I want you to be able to arm yourself so that no matter what life throws at you, you can deal with it and be able to move on. Are you going to have some time that you're down and things depress you and some days it just feels like the world's against you? Yes. But here's what it comes down to. You're going to know how to pick yourself back up. You're going to be able to look at the track record in your journal and say, everything was going good up until here. Let's make it through this and get back to having smooth days again. If you want to build $1 million roadmap and create $1 million a year income, you're going to have to do stuff differently than other people do. And I'm trying to prepare you on how to be able to deal with some of the issues you're going to face when you start doing all this different stuff, fitting this into your life schedule. Because let's face it, everybody has a busy life. Life is a 24/7, 365 event. It isn't like you just sit around, I think I'll get into an online business because I don't have anything else to do. That isn't what happens. You're busy, living a full speed life, and you're trying to fit this in. So part of what I teach you as we build your $1 million roadmap is how to fit it in. That's everything I have for today's episode of The Money Wheel. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Money Wheel Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and like the podcast. For everything that was talked about in today's amazing show, go to moneywheelpodcast.com and get today's show notes, past episodes, and most importantly, you can connect with Don Shade on all his social media platforms. Again, at moneywheelpodcast.com. If you are just looking to email Don, you can email him at don@moneywheelpodcast.com. For a list of all our tools we use in our business, you can go to moneywheelpodcast.com/resources. Again, thank you for listening to today's podcast, and see you in our next episode of the Money Wheel Podcast.